Thank you, Mr. President and members. I move to suspend the Senate's regular order of business to take up and consider Committee Substitute Senate Bill 762. This bill addresses the distractions of political symbols in public schools which have sparked disruption. This Committee Substitute Senate Bill 762 allows the display of specific flags that are more in line with federally recognized and state recognized flags. Others are excluded unless part of the curriculum, and schools failing to report remedies when a flag that is not allowed to be displayed in school. They have 10 business days and would be subject to $500 daily civil penalty and enforced by the Attorney General. And with that, I move suspension.
Senator Menendez, for what purpose?
Questions of the author, Mr. President.
Senator Campbell, do you yield for questions?
I do.
Senator Menendez, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Senator Campbell. Quick question. Senator Campbell, schools already have policies about what can and cannot be displayed in the classroom. So I guess I'm wondering specifically what prompted this legislation? I mean, is there a specific list? I'm wondering, I can't see a way that a child could have a flag with a Spurs logo if this passes, or the Cowboys, or are we banning the Houston Rockets or the Dallas Mavericks? I just don't understand. But in all seriousness, I guess what problem is the bill trying to solve?
To make sure we don't have, that we are focusing on education and not advocacy. Okay. Don't have flags that might cause disruption in the classroom. So
does this bill then, because it doesn't specify student organizations like the Future Farmers of America, DECA, the Honor Society, does it, or mental health initiatives, does it also ban those because they're not on the list?
If the flags are part of the educational curriculum, the flags can be displayed.
Okay. What about if a student creates an awareness campaign about mental health issues, anti-bullying, suicide prevention? Would those be considered violations of this bill?
Yes.
So
they're displayed in the classroom.
Pardon me?
Yes, if they're displayed in the classroom.
So when you and I in this body, we passed the cyberbullying law named as David's Law, they had some, anti-bullying signs and flags, so we can't display those in the classroom.
Not the flag, not a flag.
Not a flag.
This bill is related to flags only.
Okay. So if there's a flag of, if the flag is listed as the only way the flag can be, if the flag is listed in your bill, that's the only way it can be displayed? And
they're the only flags that can be displayed, yes.
I guess the question is, I'm trying to figure out the policy behind this. And I guess the question is, once again, what policy initiative are we trying to solve here? Does this improve education?
It takes away any advocacy time. It takes away, if it's not promoting education as part of the curriculum, it does not need to be displayed. Flags are powerful symbols that play a critical, multifaceted role in the life of our nation or in our state. And it visually represents identity and values of our nation or state. Any attempt that dilute the unity of our state flag or Texas's flag or our national flag can't help with competing flags to be divisive and may distort patriotism or loyalty toward the nation or our state. We just need to not have advocacy flags displayed in the classroom unless it's part of the curriculum. And then I would expect that it's a temporary display.
Does this bill apply to private schools?
No.
Only public schools?
Public schools.
So, thank you for answering.
I think that private schools should adhere to it.
Thank you. Thank you for answering
my question.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
Mr. President.
Thank you, thank you, Senator Menendez.
Senator Eckhart, for what purpose?
To ask questions of the author of the bill.
Senator Campbell, do you yield for questions?
Yes, I do.
Senator Eckhart, you're recognized.
Thank you so much, Senator Campbell. Your bill defines flag as a piece of fabric or other material with a design symbolizing a cause. Would this include stickers?
No?
But it does include pennants.
Fabric, yes. That are displayed in the classroom, yes.
So would it include any non-fabric, what other non-fabric materials does it include?
You'd have to tell me. It's what defines a flag, and it's typically rectangular shape. It can have other shapes, and it is material, fabric, not paper.
So rainbow wall art on paper would not be subject to this?
It is unless it's defined as a flag, no, it would not. I think it would be disruptive if it's posted on the wall, but does not include that's not included in the definition of a flag.
So if it's a paper flag, it would not be covered?
If it is a flag, it would be covered. It is a fabric. If it's a flag, it's covered.
You could see how this might be confusing.
It might be.
So if it is a flag drawn on a piece of paper,
No.
it would not be covered by your bill?
Is it displayed
Yes, displayed.
in the room as a flag would be?
If it is a flag drawn on a piece of paper and displayed on the wall?
No.
Thank you. Thank you for answering my question.
You're welcome.
Senator Alvarado, for what purpose?
Ask the author a few questions.
Senator Campbell, do you yield for questions?
Yes, I do.
Senator Alvarado, you're recognized.
Senator Campbell, what about during certain holidays like Cinco de Mayo? Would a Mexican flag be allowed?
If it's part of the curriculum, they're recognizing that. They usually put that in the curriculum. If there are specific days that teachers may recognize different, like Fiesta, Mexican flag. It's a temporary display. That would be fine. That's part of their curriculum for that day.
Well, because we have Cinco de Mayo, which a lot of Americans also celebrate. You also have Hispanic Heritage Month, which includes 16 de Septiembre, which is a much bigger holiday for those of Mexican descent. Mm-hmm. So would that be allowed during that time?
If it is part of the curriculum, if the teacher is teaching about it, what it means, then it would be allowed. If it's just hoisted or displayed on a pole in the classroom, no. But if it's part of the curriculum, meaning what the teacher is teaching, then yes, it would be allowed.
Okay, and why not have it apply to private schools as well?
I think, can we do it? Yes, we can. We should.
Okay,
I'm good with that.
okay. Are you, well, I
So
don't,
we will offer an
I don't want
amendment.
to offer the amendment.
I'm happy to
because I'm
offer
not
the-
going to vote for the bill, but I mean, I just think.
No, we can. Senator Menendez had asked about that.
Okay,
Specifically, it doesn't say that, yes or no, but I'll offer an amendment. We can do that. We can offer it together.
I think you alone would do just fine.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for answering my
But yes, I
questions.
think it's appropriate.
Senator Campbell moves suspension of the regular order of business on committee substitute for Senate Bill 762. There is objection. The secretary will call the roll.
Alvarado, Betancourt, Birdwell, Blanco, Campbell, Cook, Creighton, Eckhart, Flores, Gutierrez, Hagenbu, Hall, Hancock.
There being 23 ayes and 8 nays, the rules are suspended. Chair lays out on second reading committee substitute for Senate Bill 762. The secretary will read the caption.
Committee substitute, Senate Bill 762, relating to the display of flags in public schools.
The following amendment.
Floor amendment number 1 by Campbell.
Senator Campbell, you're recognized on the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. President. This amendment strikes the word state and changes it to Texas in the bill. And it says that we're also removing line 8 that it's stricken from, and we will be relabeling, reordering the numbers. And it adds that any listed flag cannot be altered in color or symbols otherwise. It must stay in their normal, flags displayed must stay in their original form. And we will be changing on the next amendment from a public to just school, so that we include both private and public.
Senator Menendez, for what purpose?
Question to the author of the amendment, Mr. President.
Senator Campbell, do you yield for questions on the amendment?
I do.
Senator Menendez, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Senator Campbell. I was just reading the amendment. On line 11 here, it says a public elementary or secondary school may not display or permit an employee, agent, volunteer, or student to display on school property a flag described by subsection. Okay, so what you're getting at is even if the flag is allowed in subsection B, they can't alter the colors or the symbols or the appearance. That's what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. So if it says on school property, I'm assuming that means in the parking lot as well?
School property, wherever the campus extends.
Okay, so a volunteer or student. Okay, so, all right. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you,
for
Senator
answering my
Menendez, and thank you for asking the question a while ago regarding private schools.
Senator West, for what purpose?
Question of the author.
Senator Campbell, do you yield for questions?
I do.
Senator West, you're recognized.
Senator Campbell, these are some questions that came up when I was at home.
Yes.
When we say any other flag, how does a team, a football team, a lot of times they take flags out on the field. Does this bill prevent them from displaying that flag on the football field?
No,
Is there
it's active and it's not displayed
I'm sorry?
necessarily. That's an act, no, it does not prevent that.
All right, then help me to, and this for purposes of understanding display, because it could be vague.
Could be what?
The term display
Yes.
could be vague from the standpoint of what do you mean when you say display? You know, when I think of display, I think about putting something on the shelf and just leaving it there. So is there a duration of time attached to display, the verb display?
The flags that are listed in the bill can be permanently displayed. If it is a flag displayed for the purpose of teaching, it's not going to be taught every day the same subject. But the football teams, with them running out with their flags, or a temporary event program that you would expect for school recognition of their mascot, would be accepted.
And so if a teacher wanted to bring different flags to the classroom as part of a lesson plan, they're able to do that, correct?
They are. And of course, the lesson plans are in line with the TEKS, but yes, they are.
Okay, because I want to make certain there's no chilling effect as it relates to what is expected, assuming that this bill passes. And so teachers, employees, agents would be able to, on a temporary basis, be able to display flags as a part of a lesson plan or a program that they're having on campus.
Just like, yes, the answer to that is yes.
Okay. And so if a volunteer organization is coming on campus and they have a flag as a part of whatever activity they're having on campus, they're able to do that. It's my understanding.
It cannot be displayed in the classroom unless it's part of the curriculum of the classroom. If you're talking about an outside event, this doesn't apply to that.
Okay. It does not apply to an outside event.
No, because an outside event, somebody can come and go as they wish. They're not in the classroom with it being taught or not being taught, just posted or displayed. So yes, it's allowed, whatever you,
All right.
the question you asked, I just got off a little bit on a tangent.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Senator Eckhart, for what purpose?
To ask questions on the amendment of the author.
Senator Campbell, do you yield for questions?
Yes, on this amendment, and then I will need to, hang on one second. I will, because I'm not sure what your question applies to. If I was to put the amendment to include private schools, because it's all addressed around public schools, that would violate the germaneness of this. So I will not be offering an amendment that includes private schools on this bill.
And my questions do not go to the private school issue.
The amendment that I just asked to be drafted, I am not going to present it because it would violate the two-subject rule. It would not be germane. And I think this is important for our classrooms. So I will not be offering that. Now, I know that may not be what you were going to ask me, but since I had the mic, I just wanted to let the members know that I have changed my mind because of the two-subject rule.
Senator Campbell, do you yield for additional questions from Senator
I do.
Eckhart?
And sorry I took up her time.
Senator Eckhart, you're recognized.
Thank you so much. And just with regard to the amendment, is this amendment designed to get at alterations of flags such as the Blue Lives Matter flag or upside down flags?
Yes.
I just wanted to clarify if that was the rationale behind it. Thank you.
If it's an alteration of the standard flags as we know it, for instance, the U.S. flag, that's what that applies to. Alteration of a flag that's not on the list, I'm not speaking to that because that flag's not allowed by the bill.
Thank you very much for
Yes,
clarifying that.
ma'am.
Senator Alvarado, for what purpose?
To ask the author a question.
Yes,
Senator Campbell, do you yield?
I do.
Senator Alvarado, you're recognized.
Thank you, Senator Campbell. When we were talking just a bit ago, you were open to offering the amendment so that it would cover private schools as well, and now you've just said that you're not. Is it because of the caption of the bill?
I sought advice and found out that it would violate the germaneness, so I don't want to risk that.
Okay.
Doesn't mean that another bill at another date could not be made that was specifically for private schools.
Well, I'm guessing that what you're thinking about is the caption of the bill, and if that were the case, maybe that could be corrected, because I think there should not be two sets of standards, one for public schools and private schools on.
But we do have, I hear what you're saying. I think a separate bill would be appropriate. I can look at that, but I'm not going to risk this bill with the advice that it's possible that it would affect the germaneness because of a two-subject rule.
It might be a little too late for a new bill.
It could be too late. Commonly it is.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Is there objection to the adoption of the amendment? There is objection. The Secretary will call the roll.
Alvarado, Betancourt, Birdwell, Blanco, Campbell, Cook, Creighton, Eckhart, Flores, Gutierrez, Hagenbu, Hall, Hancock, Hinojosa of Nueces, Hinojosa of Hidalgo, Huffman, Hughes, Johnson, King, Colcourse, Menendez, Middleton.
There being 23 ayes and 8 nays, the amendment is adopted.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Campbell, you're recognized for a motion.
I move passage to engrossment.
Senator Campbell moves passage to engrossment. The Secretary will call the roll.
Alvarado, Bencourt, Birdwell, Blanco, Campbell, Cook, Creighton, Eckhart, Flores, Gutierrez, Hagenbu, Hall, Hancock, Hinojosa of Hidalgo, of Nueces, Hinojosa of Hidalgo, Huffman.
There being 23 ayes and 8 nays, the bill is passed to engrossment. Senator Campbell will hold there.
Thank you very much.